Hey, what's up, Superdads? So today I'm going to talk to you about time static contractions, which are a fantastic exercise methodology. I'm not cutting that methodology. They're great if you're dealing with injuries. They're great if you want to avoid injuries. They're great if what you want is pure strength, but they're also going to contribute to hypertrophy as well. This is an isometric exercise, a kind of isometric exercise. It's going to be overcoming isometric in nature, which is where you're fighting against a force or a load or whatever it is that you are unable to overcome, which is why they're called overcoming. You're seeking to overcome something that you're not able to overcome. So what makes something a time static contraction is that whereas with a normal isometric overcoming isometric movement exercise, you're basically easing into it. If you're doing it correctly, you're easing into it, and then you're maintaining a steady, as much as possible, a steady level of force output. So either that's 60 to 70% for longer, or it's closer to max force output for a shorter period of time, and then potentially you're repeating, doing repetitions of that depending on what your goals are and how much you want to train. The difference with the time static contraction is that it is split up by time periods, by lengths of time, the amount of force that you're putting in. Now, I'm gonna demonstrate one of these in this video, and you'll see what this looks like. Not that you can really tell, but I'll try to put some markers on the screen so that you can understand, and of course I'll do a voiceover so that you know what's going on. But the protocol that I'll be using in my time static contraction is total, it's a minute, and then we got the first 20 seconds is around 50% of potential force output. Then for the next 20 seconds, we're bumping it up to around 70%. And for the last, let's say, 10 to 20 seconds, so close to a minute, right? But I think I crap out before we get to a full minute on this one because it's tough. For the last 20 seconds, you're pushing all out as hard as you can. Why would you do this approach to isometric training? Isometrics are also already the safest kind of exercise. And if it's possible to be safer than isometrics, time static contractions are safer than isometrics because there is no possibility of sudden, strong force output that your joints haven't been prepared for, that your body isn't ready for. Because you're starting out with 50%, then 70, then 100, there's more of a gradual buildup. Having said that, when you get to 100%, it's not actually going to be your legitimate 100%. Yes, it will feel like 100%, so it is 100% at that time, because that's what intensity means, or whatever other people might say about intensity. It's not like how close you are to your 1 rep max. Complete nonsense. It's how close you are to your ability at any given time. Your potential, let's say potential output of force at any given time. And so you're working at that potential for output when you get to the 100%. But, and this is really important to know, to acknowledge, to understand, your ability to output force when you get there in a time static contraction has been significantly reduced by the amount of time you spent at 50 and 70%. So your 100% force output for the last 20 seconds is going to feel incredibly difficult and super intense. And you'll probably only be outputting something like 50% of the total force that you could do if you were fresh, because you're going to be already tired. Your muscles are already going to be taxed. There's a couple of reasons why this is great. I talked a little bit about safety, but other ones are, if you're not familiar with the Henneman size principle, it is very important. It's a foundational principle in hypertrophy training or strength training, just physical culture. And it says that your muscle fibers are recruited in sequential order. So you're going to start with the slower, less powerful muscle fibers, right? And so when you're doing your 50%, you're not going to be engaging the fast twitch muscle fibers, the ones that have the highest capacity to put out force. But you're going to fatigue those slow twitch muscle fibers. Then you're going to move on to the 70. Across that span, you're going to probably fatigue, as close to all of them as possible. And then when you get to 100%, you only have left the muscle fibers that are higher force output. But because you've fatigued so many of the other ones, they're not able to work in a synthesized or a synergistic manner to put out your maximum level of force. All you're getting is the maximum amount of force that the remaining muscle fibers can put out. So because of this, because of how long this lasts, you're able to thoroughly train all of the muscle fibers that you're targeting, so that at the end you'll be, jelly. Whatever muscle it is that you use will be basically jelly. Another nice thing about time static contractions is that you don't give your muscles a break at all, and so that's another reason they're so effective. Is slow twitch muscle fibers recover very quickly. They're like, your muscles in your calves and your forearms tend to be more like slow twitch muscle fibers, unless you're naturally a sprinter or high jumper or something like that who have a higher proportion of them, because they need to be able to recover quickly, because walking or holding things is such a common activity that happens frequently. If those muscles were to recover slowly, right, you'd like hold on to something hard and then put it down, and then you wouldn't be able to pick anything else up for a while because your muscles hadn't recovered yet. Obviously, that would be not an adaptive way for your body, adaptively sound way for your body to work. So instead, these muscle fibers recover quickly. So the way that we deal with that is, in a high intensity approach, it would just be, make sure you push into a failure. But if we're doing a time static contraction, the way we deal with that is we make sure that they have no chance to recover. They're under constant tension for the entire time. And so we are making sure that we are wiping them out as much as possible before we get to the fast twitch stuff. So I'm going to play this video for you, and I will talk you through what I'm doing here. So you can see me setting up here on my veranda. I'm using my ISOFIT trainer. It's basically just a strap with handles. They're adjustable handles, though. It's a great piece of kit. I did a review of this, and if you're someone who does a lot of isometrics, it's a great thing to invest in. Not that expensive, unless you live in Japan where the shipping costs a lot. It's kind of like I'm doing a trap bar deadlift here, handles to the side, neutral grip, and really fit in the lower back and the glutes and the hamstrings. And right now I'm just at 50%. For about the first 20 seconds. After 20 seconds, you'll see me bump it up a little bit, and probably around 70%. Now, maintaining form, continue breathing the whole time. And when I get to around 40 seconds, I'm counting in my head, so the count might be off. You could put a watch or a clock or something in front of you if you really wanted to, but you can see how much I'm struggling here. I'm shaking a lot. This is max output right there. Look at my arms shaking like crazy, and I don't think I'm even going to make it to a minute. It's so tough. This will also kill your cardio. You want to keep breathing. You don't want your blood pressure to spike too much on here, but you can see how exhausting that is, just a minute of that. So my heart rate's bumped up at the end there. It's tough. Especially I like to do this for compound movements, because compound movements are the ones that people injure themselves on most of the time. They're also the ones where having like raw strength is most important, right? Like if you have a really super strong bicep curl, doesn't matter that much. Doesn't matter that much unless you're fighting off an arm bar. But even then, you should be using your whole body. You should be trying to wriggle out, right? You're not trying to just use your bicep to curl the person, which would be insane. So I like to use this for compound movements. I do it, go to the park where they have like low pull-up bars, so that it's right around waist level, and put that on your back like you're doing a back squat. That's a great thing to do time static contractions on. Something like a shoulder press, something like a bench press. You can do it with pulls as well, like a pull-up bar. Hook your feet under the pull-up bar, and just hanging there for a minute is going to be crazy hard. But you can always put a foot on top of the bar at the bottom and a foot on the bottom, so you're locked into place, and then do your time static contraction. So compound movements are my recommendations on these. And for this, like, it's hard unless you have access to a trap bar and a place that you can train with a trap bar. It's tough to do trap bar deadlifts. But trap bar deadlifts are fantastic. They're much less painful or much less injury creating for your back for most people. And they are wonderful for your full body training. So being able to do them with time static contraction, and all you really need is a long towel or a rope, or if you have a trainer like I have, perfect option there. So that's time static contractions. I hope that this was informative, helpful. If you want to take a look at programs that use these kind of unorthodox exercises to make sure you get into incredible shape in less than 40 minutes a week of total exercise time, take a look down in the description. We got a 3-Minute Muscles, a free program, and then there's a dumbbell and a home, both of them home-based, but a dumbbell and a bodyweight program, and then there's a Facebook group, and of course you can always schedule a call with me then where we talk about what you're trying to do and how to best achieve it. So thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate the attention. Take it easy, everyone.